All that stands between the San Francisco 49ers and 2-0 is Sam Darnold. Is that actually going to be a thing that gets in their way? We'll talk about it on the Gold Diggers podcast, sponsored by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Gold Standard podcast and the Gold Standard and the Fans First Sports Networks. I'm Rob Stats Guerrera. She's Michelle Majuk. What up, Michelle?
Hey. What up?
It's back,
I
baby.
did it. I got the hey in. Yeah, let's do it.
A lot of people have been wondering where that is, so you just made some people very happy. And you made a lot of people very happy, Michelle, because I was doing the instant reaction show, and the amount of people in the chat that were praising you and thanking you and DMing me, telling me to thank you. I don't know why they did that, but they did, for your advice to take the Jordan Mason anytime touchdown last week. You made me very happy because I took it, and you made a lot of 49er fans happy.
I am so happy that I made you all happy. I'm not allowed to bet, so I didn't make myself happy, but I did make, I was happy for all of you guys, and end up working out. I think it seems like Mason was going to get a lot of playing time, even if Christian McCaffrey was active. Mm-hmm. So I think he still could have got in, but as soon as, they marked him out, I was like, oh my goodness, anyone who got in that bet beforehand, it was looking great.
Oh, when he scored and then they called it back on the Debo hold, I was furious. But anyway, he eventually got in, thank goodness. Marilee Murphy says, Michelle, tell me about Jauan Jennings with a winky face.
Listen, my two guys that I wanted, to see more out of, Jauan Jennings and Jordan Mason, they proved me wrong in week one. They both look great.
We'll get to our best bets for this week in a minute, but first I want to break down the game a little bit. Of course, we still don't know about Christian McCaffrey. I'm assuming he's not going to play. John Lynch was on KMBR this morning and said, basically, we don't know because it's Achilles tendonitis. It flares up. He could be good today and be terrible on game day. They really don't know. So it's probably going to be another game time decision.
That's going to be exhausting. That's going to be like all year long that this could happen. Like he could be fine. And then all of a sudden it could flare up. And like, is this something that with rest that he could end up being completely fine if they just let him rest? Cause maybe you do that, right? Because this Vikings game, we don't expect it to be close. Don't put him out there. Jordan Mason can handle it this week. And just let him is there a way to get fully healthy this year? I guess is the question.
The scary thing is, he had all off season for it to get healthy, and it acted up as soon as he started playing football again. So I don't know. That is sort of a scary proposition. What makes it a little less scary, at least from our perspective, is that Jordan Mason looked awesome last week. Jordan Mason carried the load. He was breaking tackles. The offensive line was shoving people out of the club. So, I think we all were sort of holding our breath about, like, what does this offense look like without Christian McCaffrey? At least for 1 week last week, they look great.
Yeah. And their upcoming schedule, Vikings, Rams, maybe could be difficult, but then the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, let him rest up until that Chiefs game. Honestly, like I think the 49ers will be completely fine without him until they need him in the middle of the season for some of the harder matchups.
I saw this from Next Gen Stats. If you're watching on the stream, you can see the tweet. In week 1, Jordan Mason led the league with 13 missed tackles forced. 5 more than the next closest ball carrier, who was James Conner, who breaks a lot of tackles. James Conner is good at that. Jordan Mason had 13, James Conner 8, Ramondre Stevenson 8, Brian Robinson 7, and Devon Achane had 6. Jordan Mason got his chance, and he made the most of it. And we'll see if he can do it again. There's no reason to think he can, especially with the way the offensive line blocked. They were awesome against the Jets. They were good in pass blocking. They were good in run blocking. All around, it was a very impressive performance from the offensive line. So if Mason's got to go again, I still predict good things.
Now, the Vikings were one of the better run defenses last year, mostly because they're just so bad at pass defense. But they could run defend last season. They held, Devin Singletary in check last week. The hard thing about the Vikings is we really don't know anything after week 1 because they played the Giants. Like, I'm sorry, we don't know anything about their defense, and we know nothing about their offense because both sides of those balls stink. They have no good players besides Malik Neighbors on the Giants. Like, there's really nothing to tell, right? After that 1 week.
Sorry, I'm just still getting over the fact that you said both sides of those balls stink. Let's get to Aaron Rodriguez, who says, "Hey, Rob, Greenlaw had Achilles tendonitis before the rupture sit him down. He did, but the Achilles that Greenlaw tore was the other Achilles. It wasn't the one that had been bothering him. It's just, I know that some people think that. I just want to be clear about that. Doesn't mean that, McCaffrey won't tear the one that's been bothering him, but it just with Greenlaw, it happened to be the opposite one. Couple of different sound bites I want to play because I spent a lot of time yesterday watching some of the press conferences from the Niners and from the Vikings. First, let's go to Brock Purdy. This is a 49ers podcast. You might as well start there. Brock did a really cool job of explaining why Brian Flores is really tricky to go against. Here's Brock.
Some teams throughout the league where you know what they're running. They're in quarters, 3 deep, man. Like you know what they're running. With Minnesota, it's sort of an illusion fest. They want to make it seem like they're doing this, and then post snap they're dropping 8 into every which way. So they do a lot. It's hard for us to just grasp exactly what they're doing. So I think a lot of it is dropping back and post snap, seeing the shell, the safeties, who's coming, who's not, and where I need to go with the ball from there. But it's definitely one of those outliers of a scheme that you have to get ready for.
I thought that was really interesting, and I'm fascinated to see now that this is going to be his second matchup with Brian Flores. Does he look better than he looked the first time? Because he did kind of struggle.
Yeah, I know. He did struggle last time, right? There was no Trent, there was no Debo. Also, I feel like we're just forgetting, like, he was still like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It was still just his 12th start in his career, right? You get to play against teams, you get to learn. Every game that you play, you're learning more, especially when you have the brain of Brock Purdy and his mental capacity that he has playing this game. Like, he's one of the smartest quarterbacks. Like, I just feel like because he had a down game in one of his first 12 starts in the league, we're like, oh no, what if he struggles against the Vikings? And Brian Flores, like, he's going to be fine. It was a learning thing. Trent not being there was huge. I gave you the splits with and without him over the last 3 years for this entire 49ers offense. Like, Trent's here. It'll be fine. I think Brock Purdy has a really great game this week in Minnesota.
One of the things that I wanted to look at, and I didn't get the chance to do it, was how does Brock Purdy do against teams he's faced multiple times? He hasn't lost a game in the division, so obviously he's done great, at least in the NFC West. But in terms of outside the NFC West, how does he do? And I don't even know how many of those matchups there are specifically, but I would just be curious to see, because I do think that everything that is the best about Brock is from the neck up. I think that's where he really shines. And so getting a second opportunity against the same scheme, I would kind of be interested to kind of just compare. Not that it's going to, give us any guaranteed answers, but I thought it would be a curious thing to look at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we didn't get to see him play twice against the Eagles because he technically didn't get to play that NFC Championship game, but we know how the offense looked against the Eagles in that second game. Yeah, there's probably not a lot of teams he's faced twice outside of the division because it's been such a limited sample size, and you don't get to play teams outside of your division too often, multiple times in that, 2.5-year span.
Right. Jason Captain Niner Massey, YouTube channel member, shout out to all the YouTube channel members, says, Rob, you're not wrong, but yes, Michelle made us happy. Did you happen to catch my show at Levin yesterday, Michelle?
I caught the first 15 minutes of it.
I noticed during the show, he never says, you're right, Rob. He always
I
says,
heard this, yes.
You're not wrong. And it just, you know what? Like, it just ticked me off yesterday. I was like, can you just for once admit that I was right? And he won't do it.
Yeah, I think this is something you got to let go, I'm actually on his side here.
What?
I'm never on Levin's side. Yeah.
Oh, why? That just bugs the hell out of me.
Because he's not necessarily saying you're right. He's
exactly.
Just saying you're not right. But that's his opinion. Like, that's how he feels. Like, you're not wrong. Yeah. But it's not like you made like an amazing point, but you're not wrong about the point you made.
If you and your wife were about to go out and you said, Kate, how do I look in this outfit? And she said,
it's not the same thing.
You don't look bad. Would you feel great? Or if she said, wow, you look so hot, you'd feel differently, wouldn't you?
Yes. Do you
Right.
want Levin to tell you look hot? Is this what this is really about?
Well, you know what? It wouldn't hurt. Let's be honest. I feel like there's a difference. It just bugs the hell out of me. Anyway, we don't have to get too bogged down in that, but I just, little things just kind of stick in your head. Okay.
I do. Wait, hold on. So I was trying to think about what teams, Brock has played twice. So he did get to play the Cowboys twice, right? Because in the playoffs in 2022, he played them. And then last year he throws 4 touchdowns, has a great game, and he didn't have that solid. I mean, he didn't have that big of a game in the playoffs against the Cowboys. So the second time he saw that defense, he was much better. So it'll be an interesting thing to watch this week against the Vikings.
Yes, Swedge Antilles pointed that out too, that he played the Cowboys twice. So good job on both of you for remembering that, because I definitely didn't. And that's encouraging. I mean, again, not like, oh, well, now he's got it and he's never going to do anything bad. It was something that popped into my head. There's still a lot of stuff about Brock that we're learning and we're going to learn as this season goes on. So hopefully that'll be one thing, and hopefully it'll work in our favor. The next video clip I wanted to play for you is our old friend, Mr. Sam Darnold, whose jersey I am wearing at this very moment, both in your honor and in his honor, Michelle. I heard this clip and I thought it was really interesting because I think it really tells us a lot about Sam and a lot about what has happened to him basically over the course of his career. Listen to Sam Darnold.
When you're at quarterback, I feel like a lot of times you can feel everything kind of collapsing on you, not just in the game, but theoretically, as a whole. Just if things aren't going your way, you can feel the weight of the world a little bit. And at the end of the day, it's your job to just put the ball in your playmakers' hands and let them go run and make a play. I think it's as simple as that.
I thought that was really interesting because, I mean, with the Jets, he was drafted to be the savior, and it just snowballed. He went from the seeing ghost thing, and I think it just goes to show, it did feel like that for him. It all kind of comes crashing down on him, and I think that he gets into trouble sometimes when things kind of start to snowball, and I think that could happen on Sunday if the Niners, especially if they get to him early.
Yes, that's the thing, right? They need to put pressure on him because in Kevin O'Connell's offense, he's going to make things easy for his quarterbacks. And if Sam Darnold's able to get the ball out very quickly, not have to think at all, because you don't want Sam Darnold to think. That's where things go badly. If he can just snap the ball, get it out to his first read, then it's going to be a fine game for Sam Darnold. But the thing is, it's just Justin Jefferson out there. That's all the 49ers really need to focus on this week, because Jordan Addison is likely to be out. TJ Hawkinson's not there. So cover up Justin Jefferson, like we saw last week against Garrett Wilson. He was getting open. Aaron Rodgers looked okay to start because he was able to get the ball out so quickly to Garrett Wilson. Once that went away, Aaron Rodgers fell apart. Once they take away Justin Jefferson, figure that out in this game, Sam Darnold's going to fall apart. It's just going to happen.
I would agree. That's my philosophy for sure. Weirdest comment of the day. Palatero says, been a big fan for years. I think I speak for everyone when I say, can you please stop using your show as a tool to promote political propaganda? I have no idea what this person is talking about. I appreciate the super chat. But yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So, but thanks for your money.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for the $5 for the most pointless comment ever.
Violent XRP says, Michelle, should I start JP Mason or Pittman? B Hall is my main running back, but I want to flex Pittman, just not sure.
I do like Pittman this week a lot, but I would go with Mason for sure. It's just much safer, and he has a higher ceiling.
There you go. Keep the if you have questions for Michelle, we'll be happy to answer them. Thomas Luttrell says, Sam Darnold reminds me of an actor he's a dead ringer for. I can't place the actor, though.
He does look like a weird looking dude, Sam Darnold. I mean, anyways, going back to his play, though, because I feel like people are giving him so much credit for his week 1 performance where he, throws just over 200 yards, has 2 touchdowns, an interception. He was incredibly comfortable last week because, again, the Giants stink. When he was not pressured, he went 14 for 15 pass attempts, had 130 passer rating, a 93 completion percentage. Again, those are the first reads. He gets to get it out quickly. He doesn't have to make any decisions. It's easy for him, comfortable in a great offensive system with Kevin O'Connell. Under pressure, the completion percentage went down to 55%. 6.3 yards per attempt. That's when he threw the interception. That's when he had a 72 passer rating, only 5 completions. Like, put pressure on Sam Darnold, and he's going to make mistakes. And again, just don't allow him to have that first read all game long. He's not going to be able to go on to his other reads and make the right decisions.
He will fold like a cheap suit, as he always does. Okay. Palestero says that apparently there were some ads for Kamala Harris on Spotify. For the record, I don't pick those. I have no control over those. So whatever ads are airing on Spotify, like I have no control over that. So that wasn't one that I specifically picked to put in there.
But Spotify did a great job. Good job, Spotify.
If you follow me on Twitter at Stats on Fire, there is no question who I'm supporting in this election. And that's all I'll say about that.
He's the one bringing up politics right now. We were never going to talk about that today, but go Kamala. All right, let's go.
Exactly. All right. Who were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Sam Darnold folding like a cheap suit. And I want to say this too, and I said it yesterday, but just again for the record, I don't have any problem with Sam Darnold, the person, the human being. He seems like a perfectly nice man. Nobody has a bad word to say about him as a person. It's not about him as a person. It's about the narrative surrounding him. Eric Branch for the 49ers has an article about how Sam Darnold's 1 year with the Niners enabled him to rehabilitate his career because he had one game against the Giants with 205 yards. Like, it's amazing to me, the narrative with this guy. So that is what bugs the hell out of me. So yes, I will take particular joy in the 49ers stomping Sam Darnold this week. I will, but it doesn't have anything to do with me not liking him as a person. I'm sorry for the stress and the pain that the 49ers are going to inflict upon him this week, but some things need to be done.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing the 49ers shouldn't be doing is blitzing Sam Darnold. That seemed to work for him last week. But also the same thing is the Giants don't have a good secondary, right? Their pass rush isn't actually terrible. But at the same time, when their secondary is so incredibly bad, you're not getting any coverage sacks. Like, they're not helping them out at all. That's not going to be the same case for the 49ers. But also the 49ers knew not to blitz Aaron Rodgers last week. They only blitzed Rodgers on 2 of 22 dropbacks last week. And that's what they should be doing with Sam Darnold. Like, put as much coverage back there, because if he has to try to make a tight coverage throw or try to manipulate this defense or try to read the defense, again, he has, like, when we talk about Purdy is so stinking good because of his mental capability in this game, right? He doesn't have the best skill set, the most mobility, the strongest arm among all these quarterbacks, but his brain is so top notch. Sam Darnold actually does have a pretty strong arm. He has some mobility. Like, he has the skill set you would like in a quarterback. The thing is, he might be the worst quarterback when it comes to the mental aspect of this game. So make him use his brain in this game, and he's going to fall apart. That's it. That's all it comes down to with Sam Darnold. Yeah,
I feel like Brock and Sam are the opposite. Brock is at his best from the neck up. Darnold's at his best from the neck down. That's really what it is. He's strong. He's fast. He's more athletic, Sam Darnold, than you think. Like, he can actually move around a little bit. He has a strong arm. The problem is everything from the neck up. So it's like him and Brock are the complete opposite. And it's funny because of that, people keep waiting, and there's like, we got to keep waiting and see if Brock is really good. They keep waiting for him to be really good because they don't see the same types of throws that they see from other players. And because of Sam Darnold's great physical gifts, they keep saying, well, I still think he's really good. It's just, they are the complete opposite. They are mirror images of one another.
Yes, absolutely. And that's why that Sam Darnold's not going to make it in this league. That's why no one wanted him, except for the Vikings. For whatever reason, the Vikings were all in. But like, I'm not worried about this game at all. They're just going to destroy them.
The Vikings wanted him because they knew they were drafting a quarterback, and they wanted someone that could be a bridge, is really why they wanted him. Like, they wanted him because they knew eventually they were going to go to the draft pick. Now, unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy got hurt, and, that things have changed now. It's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. But that was the original plan for Minnesota. JCG 1987, YouTube channel member, says, did Michelle ever react to Brandon Aiyuk calling off the Pittsburgh trade?
I think it was the right thing for him to do. I mean, if you want to have a good career, stay with the 49ers. If you want your career to fail, go play with the quarterbacks and the run heavy system with the Steelers. Like, I think the whole time he was using the Steelers, and it hurts as a Steelers fan, but I understand it.
Yeah, the strategy. Respect the strategy. Did you see what I texted you to? This will be a good test if you read my texts. Did you see what I texted you from Mike Silver today?
Nope.
Yeah, of course. So Mike Silver reported in a column that the 49ers reached out to the Raiders.
Oh, wait, no, I did. I did read it about Jacoby Myers. I read it.
Right. So the 49ers reached out to the Raiders about a wide receiver, but it wasn't Devontae Adams. It was Jacoby freaking Myers. What? Thank God Brandon Aiyuk is still on this team. Like, whether it was Kendrick Bourne, who was in the Patriot deal, Jacoby Myers, or Cortland Sutton from Denver, like the alternatives that the 49ers were looking at, yuck and poo. Thank God that did not happen.
Yeah, I'm just happy Aiyuk is back. And it was a bad game for him in week 1, but I expect a bounce back in week 2, another week. Like, I just feel like he had to knock the rust off of him, right?
Yeah.
And he was getting targets. He was getting some good targets from Brock too. A couple bad drops there, especially in the end zone. That's not going to continue. Like, I expect him to get him more involved too. Like, we have to remember the Jets have maybe the best secondary in the league. It was a bad game for them overall on defense, but great secondary. Against Sauce Gardner, against this Vikings secondary, I expect Aiyuk to have his nice, huge game to say, hey, this is why, I don't know what that word was. Hey, this is why you paid me all this money.
Random noises are coming out of Michelle's mouth, apparently. Palestero says, all right, sorry. I thought I read somewhere the ads were able to be chosen. Love you guys. Sorry again. Well, look, we're part of the Fans First Network. I know that our policy there is not to have political ads of any kind. I don't know how that happened. I'll look into it. But yeah, it was not a conscious decision by me in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Where's the other super chat? Chris Waddell says, you guys having Spotify issues? Oh, and hi, Michelle. A lot of people, like I said, they're in a very good mood to see you and talk to you, Michelle, because you won everybody money. Brisby Life on Twitch. Shout out to the Twitch fam. Says, let Sam establish his connection with Diamador Lenoir. Did you see what Lenoir said?
I did.
He's kind of becoming like a little bit of like a bleep stirrer, for more or less. He said, I think I win that matchup with Sam Darnold for sure. I believe I win. Me and Sam, we have this connection where he likes to throw the ball to me. This week, I'm coming. He knows it. I love it from Diamador Lenoir. Keep it up.
And sometimes I'd say, oh, no, don't do that. Like, if he was saying that to Patrick Mahomes or a player where, like a Josh Allen, that's like, oh, I'm going to like make you regret those words. Sam Darnold's not going to make you regret anything. Like, please target Lenoir. Like, Lenoir, I would love him to get an interception this week. That would be absolutely fantastic. But Darnold's throwing at the very least, one interception in this matchup.
I'm fascinated to see, do the Niners put Mooney Ward on Justin Jefferson the whole time? Do they keep Ward on one side, which is basically what they did against the Jets? He was lined up on the defense's left side for 50, I think, of his 51 snaps, and they just left him there, and Rodgers basically left him alone. It's a good test for either guy, so I'm really interested to see what they do and how that matchup turns out, because Justin Jefferson's the best wideout in the league, and if you can hold up against him, I feel really good about your matchups against the rest of the wide receivers that you're going to face on the schedule.
Yeah, it's interesting because like Justin Jefferson didn't even have, his game last week, 4 receptions, 59 yards. He got the touchdown. He had a long of a 44-yard reception and ended with 59 yards. So it's not like Sam Darnold was even finding his number one guy all that much. Again, Jordan Addison was second on that team with 35 receiving yards. He's going to be out. And then it's just like Josh Oliver you have to worry about as their starting tight end, I guess. Ty Chandler out of the backfield. This offense is looking pretty gross. Maybe Aaron Jones gets more involved as a receiver. Aaron Jones looks good on the ground, but I don't think he's going to be able to look very good on the ground against the 49ers. Like, they stopped Breece Hall on the ground. He was able to do it as a receiver. Breece Hall was, but on the ground, Breece Hall couldn't get going. I don't expect Aaron Jones to like light up the 49ers on the ground.
Yeah, to me, that's the clear job. That's your only job, really, because I think that they're going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to like ease Sam Darnold into it. And Aaron Jones, I thought Aaron Jones looked really good against the Giants. He's a good player. Obviously, he was good in Green Bay. He's played well against the 49ers in the past. So that's going to be job one for San Francisco, is slowing him down. And like you said, they had a ton of success against Breece Hall, who's a damn good running back last week. That was probably the most encouraging thing for me coming out of week 1 was they didn't just like hold up and contain him. They shut him down.
Yes. And that's what they need. Again, Justin Jefferson can do whatever he wants in this game. We've brought that up for Garrett Wilson. What you have to stop is Aaron Jones. But also, I don't think Jefferson's going to do whatever he wants in this game because he has Sam Darnold throwing him the ball. So that's just not going to happen.
I got to believe that Darnold, it might not be a revenge game because he's never like the 49ers didn't do him dirty or anything like that. But I got to believe that he wants to kind of go out there and show out a little bit against the Niners.
Oh, absolutely. And then also he's going to hear what Lenoir said. He's not going to want to be embarrassed like that and be told that he was throwing interceptions to him in practice. I mean, and also just overall, Sam Darnold has to have a chip on his shoulder for everyone saying how bad he is because he has been that bad. I mean, we're just telling the truth, but he wants to prove people wrong, and that's fair, right? It's just he's not going to be able to. Again, it's not about hating the guy. He's not a good player.
I keep saying this. Like, if somehow he wins this game, Michelle, I'm going to have to eat the biggest bag of crap.
I know. What are we going to have to do if the 49ers lose? We might have to both eat, a spoonful of mayo because that's just, if they lose to Sam Darnold, I give up.
Yeah, that would not be ideal. JCG 1987, YouTube channel member, says, I think this would be a good game to get Huff back, use him for blitzes and rattle Darnold with Bosa, Floyd, and Hufanga. So the good news for the 49ers, everybody practiced yesterday. Now, they were all limited, but being able to practice at all is better than not being able to practice. And that includes Talanoa Hufanga, who, remember, they didn't put on injured reserve. So they could have kept him out the first 4 games. So they're telling you he's going to be back at some point in the first 4 weeks. Maybe it is this week. I don't know.
I think this would be a good week to get him back just in rotation, right? Like, don't play him too many snaps. You shouldn't need him this much against the Vikings, but a good week to just kind of get his feet wet, get back out there. It would be great to see him. It was weird because in the broadcast in week 1, they listed him as a starter. Did you see that? I was like, wait, is he playing? And then, he wasn't out there.
Yeah, because I was like, I saw the inactives and I saw him on the inactive list. And then when they did the graphics on the screen, it said Hufanga, because I was like, oh, who did they start at safety? Let me see. And then I was like, somebody screwed that up. That was not accurate. Antonio, YouTube channel member, says, hi, Rob and Michelle. I'm so glad this game is being played early. Me too. I can't wait for the Sam Darnold homers to make up excuses for why he couldn't read the field at all for the 60th time in his career. Yeah, he just got down early. He got down early, so he had to throw those 3 picks. It was, it was a tough situation for him, but he's got a hell of an arm.
Darnold rules.
That shocked me. I was not ready for that clip, but that's great. I whatever you need. If you find a bet out there for 2 interceptions from Darnold for 3, put it on. At least a 2, maybe 3 might be going crazy here, but we might be seeing who's the backup for the Vikings.
Nick Mullins, another former 49er.
Nick Mullins would honestly scare me more than Sam Darnold.
Mullins can gain yards, but he has the same problem. He turns the.
Oh yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be scared of either of them, but I would be more scared that Nick Mullins would hit Justin Jefferson and stride much better than Sam Darnold, or actually read the field a little bit better than Sam Darnold.
Harris says, was that Grant's voice? Yes, it was. That is the voice of Grant Cohn. Speaking of bets, Michelle, let's dive into it. Our best bets for this week. And before we get into that, I just want to say, last week, as we said at the top of the show, Michelle nailed it. Jordan Mason, anytime touchdown scorer. I told you to take George Kittle over 3.5 receptions. I told you to take Brandon Aiyuk under 54.5 receiving yards. Michelle told you to take the over on Breece Hall receiving yards. And you told us to take Deebo Samuel touchdown and the 49ers win. We had an incredible week last week. Let's pat ourselves on the back a little bit.
We really, really did. It was great. The one that I didn't hit on was the stupid Deebo receiving yards, but I did say I wanted his scrimmage yards, but they were not available. And the scrimmage yards, he would have got there. He did not get there with just the receiving yards, but it was a Deebo game when it comes to the wide receivers.
I don't want to see Deebo in the backfield as a straight running back anymore. It doesn't work. Put Garendo back there. It doesn't work with Deebo back there anymore. He could still do the end around and the jet sweeps, but not just the straight up handoff. I don't want to see it.
Well, what's nice is that Christian McCaffrey is back. You're going to have Christian McCaffrey in his role of last year, but a little bit less because now you have what you have in Jordan Mason. Like, he can be the guy that comes in and takes a lot of those first and second down carries. The one thing Mason didn't offer in week 1 was the pass catching ability of Christian McCaffrey. So you still want him back in that role, but you don't need to have CMC on the field 100% of the time now. Like, you can take him off a lot of first and second downs and have Jordan Mason on there.
And I think that they are going to do that a little more now because of the sort of up and down nature of this injury. Like, I think they're going to try and be a little more careful with him.
But think about that. Like, now another weapon in this offense, another weapon.
Boy, yeah, that's too bad, huh? Man, I feel bad for these other teams. Oh, wait. Speaking of bets, I'm still stunned, Michelle, as we check the Bet US website. Niners, the spread went down. It was at 6. Now they're favored by 5. I don't understand it. I just simply don't get it. How the 49ers are not favored by more, how the spread went down. I loved it at -6. Smash Niners -5.
They're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. Like, the only way, I think by 20, but like maybe, last week at the end of the Jets game, they get a cheap touchdown at the end there with all the backups in. Like, that could happen. They're winning by at least 2 touchdowns. I just don't see any other way. But also they have the Vikings score point total at 20.5. Take that under. They kept the Jets to 19. The Vikings scored a whopping 22 points in their win last year, right? That was with Kirk Cousins throwing for 378 passing yards, had 2 touchdowns, a free touchdown to Jordan Addison, by the way, to close out that first half. And they still only scored 22 points. Sam Darnold's not getting close to the production that Kirk Cousins had in that game. I think the 49ers defense looks incredible. They're not scoring 20.5 points.
I kind of agree with you. And I think that I would take the Niners over 24.5 also. Brisbee Life says people are betting on their losing streak in Minnesota because they haven't won in Minnesota since 1992, which I don't care about. These players were not alive in 1992. Like, it does not matter at all. But what does matter is you going to the Bet US website and making that bet right now. Go and do it. They're offering 150% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Just use code YouTube150. That's code YouTube150, and you can get the bonus and live your best life. They have the best betting variety in the business at BetUS. They can give you your very own personal account manager. So again, if you need more reasons besides the fact that they sponsor the show, there are a couple more for you. Go and do it. All right, Michelle, I have 3 bets this week. How many bets do you have for us?
Oh, well, I just gave you the Vikings under 20.5, but I do have a few more to give.
Okay, Vikings under the. I didn't realize that was like your official one. Okay, that's fine. Mine is low hanging fruit, but sometimes low hanging fruit is the sweetest. And I'm sorry, I am not buying the whole Sam Darnold rehabilitation thing. Take the over on interceptions. It's just 0.5. It's 0.5 interceptions, and this is not about me hating Sam Darnold. This is cold, hard facts. When it comes to your money, I don't get emotional. I look at the facts. Sam Darnold has started 57 games in his career. He has 57 interceptions in his career. It's only 0.5. Smash the Sam Darnold interception total, and you will thank me later.
Yeah, and if you want better odds, a better payout, then go with the 2 interceptions, if you can find that out there as well. I mean, yeah, that one's just so easy. I feel like I'm going with some pretty low-hanging fruit here, too, with the Brock Purdy over 1.5 passing touchdowns. But because I think he's going to throw 2 touchdowns, I found even a cooler bet on the BetUS site. So it's Brock Purdy to have 2 or more passing touchdowns and for the 49ers to win at plus 134 odds instead of the minus 110 odds for just the passing touchdowns. So Purdy has only gone back-to-back games without throwing 2 passing touchdowns one time in his career. That was week 6 or 8. And yeah, the Vikings game was in there, but that's also when they didn't have Trent. They didn't have Debo during that time. This is completely different. The Vikings defense is not good in the secondary. I don't care what they did against the Giants last week, but last year they allowed a league worst 70 completion percentage, ranked 24th in passing yards per game allowed. Like, I think Purdy has a really nice game in week 2, and 2 touchdowns seems to be right at the line I would give him. Like, that's what I think he'll have, the 2, and they're going to win.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe that bet is other places. I don't know if I've seen it other places, but I really like it because if you feel like the Niners are going to win the game anyway, you might as well do it, like you said, just to put the odds in your favor, to tilt the scales a little bit so you can, make a little money if you actually hit the bet, as opposed to some of those some of those bets you might feel confident in, but if it's minus 115 or something like that, like, it's kind of a bummer. So I like the little twist there that you added to it. I'm going to do the same thing, except I'm going to go Jawan Jennings anytime touchdown and the 49ers win. It's plus 550, which is, pretty comfortable. And again, if you don't know, that means you bet $100, you win 550. So I think that Jawan's, they clearly used him last week. I think he was the leading receiver in the game for the 49ers last week. He doesn't need a ton of catches. He only needs one catch in the game, right, Michelle? Or I guess he could run it in, but they don't really run it with him. He only needs the one. And I don't know. I'm going Jawan Jennings. Brock loves him. He obviously feels comfortable with him. When they get down in that 20-yard line area, maybe they just hit him on a quick shot and he can break a tackle and get in. At plus 550, I'm taking a shot.
Listen, Jawan Jennings looked good last week. And when he he went down with the injury, it looked like maybe it was going to be worse than it was. And then he was fine and back in the game. But I was like, oh no, I need Jennings out there. He looked really, really good. But I also think they needed him last week because of the matchup, because of the Jets matchup and how solid they are across the board. And they were, focusing on stopping Aiyuk and Debo and Kittle and all of that. I think Jennings just had a good role there. I don't really know if that's going to be the case in this game. I don't think they're going to need him as much, but at those odds, you never know. He just, like you said, needs one catch. But that's why I like the Brandon Aiyuk anytime touchdown score and for the 49ers to win at plus 224. He should have had that touchdown last week in a hard matchup. Great coverage. Brock put a dime on him. He dropped it. Again, I don't expect him to be rusty like he was last week. I expect him to get him highly involved after paying him this much money. The matchup is so much better than against the Jets. And the Vikings allowed the 5th most receiving yards to wide receivers last year, and then also allowed a wide receiver to record at least 100 receiving yards and a touchdown in each of their last 3 games played last year. Again, they played the Giants in week 1. I don't care what happened. I expect Brandon Aiyuk to not only hit his over in the receiving yards, 55.5, but also have the touchdown. So that's why I'm doing the touchdown and the 49ers to win at plus 224.
I had the Aiyuk receiving over was going to be my third bet. So I'm right there with you. He said he was scared to watch the film from last week because he wasn't happy with his performance. You could just tell he was letting balls hit him in the chest. And look, you can't get ready for football unless you play football. And so he's going to have another week of practice under his belt. I think he's going to be much, much better in this game. Obviously, we know that he's going to make some chunk plays. He only needs, assuming he can be close to what he was last year. What did he average? 18 yards per catch last year? Yeah. That's 3 catches in the game pretty much for him, and he hits the over. I have confidence in Brandon Aiyuk. So, yeah, that was my third one. If you want to add the little caveat of the Niners win on there, that's fine too, just to tilt it even more in your favor. I have a feeling that's going to be one that we return to quite often.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Brandon Aiyuk in a game where he can. That was just an unfortunate timing of events there with Aiyuk just signing, not getting in much practice, and then also facing the Jets secondary. I think he has this huge blow-up game. I'm not going to be surprised if it's 100 yards and a touchdown for him this week.
Yanni Rude says, I just want to hear stats say February again. Love the Gold Diggers pod. February. Does that make everybody happy? That's how you're supposed to. It
makes me very irritated. So
it's just because you say it wrong. It's fine.
You're the only one that says it that way, but yeah, you're the right one.
Yeah, because that's how it's spelled. That's the word. I didn't.
English. It's nothing said how it's spelled.
That is the word. That's all I'm saying. I want to point this out real quick because Viking Jerome is in our chat and he's been in our chat this week. First of all, thanks for the support, Jerome. I have no problem with you coming in. I have no problem with you poking the bear a little bit. That's totally cool. All I want to say is after the game, if the Niners win, I better see you in the chat. I better see you in the chat because I know you'll be there if the Vikings win. That, of course you would, right? Because you're going to want to stick it in our face. But if the 49ers win, I better see you. I don't want you to go run and hide, all right? You better be in the chat. I'll find you, Jerome. I will find you.
The Vikings aren't winning this game.
I don't think so. Unless there's only 2 ways I think the Vikings can win. I think, number 1, 49ers special teams. If they get a bunch of big kick returns or some return touchdowns, that is the number 1 way for me that a worse team can beat a better team is special teams play. So if I'm the Niners, kick the damn ball out of the back of the end zone every single time and just leave it. Yep. Leave it like that. Or if Brock throws picks or we fumble the ball, something like that, then potentially the Vikings can win. But if the Niners take care of the football like they did against the Jets, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, definitely kick it out of the end zone. Make Sam Darnold and that offense drive 70 yards to score a touchdown. Like, don't give him any other chance. There's going to be no difference between 70 yards or 80 yards, right? Like, just make him drive the whole 70 yards, even if you were to get a stop, closer to the goal line, if you kicked it and allowed them to return. It's not worth the risk. It's not worth it at all.
Nope. I completely agree with you. There was something in the chat that I wanted to respond to, and now I unfortunately can't remember where it was or find it. So I apologize for that. Here it is. WK says, don't worry, Sorensen won't call a zero blitz with 17 seconds left in the half. 49ers win comfortably. I would be fascinated to see if he calls one at all during the game, because that was like such a big deal, and they lost the game, and Steve Wilkes had to apologize, and it was really just a bad whole situation for the Niners. Does Nick Sorensen call a zero blitz at any point during the game? It would be hilarious if he did. I think he might. I mean, he just may. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to play, speaking of Nick Sorensen, this was, I'm telling you, it was a weird day yesterday in the 49ers press conferences. Listen to this Nick Sorensen clip from the press conference yesterday.
I don't feel good when I beat my sons in ping pong when they were 5 years old, 21-3. Like, some people might, I don't. I want to play someone that's a challenger. I'm not going to get any better. So, and that's the truth. I used to crush them. I still do, but yeah. I don't know. Ask them.
First of all, ask them. Okay, well, next time I talk to your kids, I will, Nick Sorensen. I just had this image of him like smashing spikes against a 5-year-old child in ping pong.
I get that though. Like when I play against my younger nephew in like basketball or something, like I probably try a little too hard. I'm not gonna lie.
So you don't let him win?
Yeah, no, not as much as I should. And I also just raced him because he really thought he was gonna be faster than me, and I kicked his butt. And my sister was like, "You really didn't let him win?" I'm like, "No." I mean, he is old. He's 7, so he's a little bit older than 5.
Did he talk trash?
Beforehand, yeah, but he was so cute afterwards. He was like, "Oh, I guess I got to get to training." It was kind of cute.
Oh, that's awesome. See, yeah. Okay. I generally, to be honest, I don't let my son and my daughter win, but I also don't go all out against them unless they talk trash ahead of time. My son now, he's 9. He'll be 10 next month. Oh my God, he'll be 10 next month. Now he's at the point where he's like, I think I can do a little something. So he gets a little cocky sometimes and he talks trash. Then I will destroy him and go all out and humble him immediately.
I was going to say, you got to humble him. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't talk trash, I'm not going to go all out. But apparently the 49ers defense needs to treat opponents the way Nick Sorensen treats his own children.
Listen, and you love that, right? Because we've been saying stop. And when the 49ers go up 40-10, you can keep going, keep making them bleed, right? Like you don't got to give up. Let's keep going. Win 70-10. I don't care. Like I want those coaches to think that way. Like I know a lot of times they're like, oh, why are you still trying? Like this is bad sportsmanship. No, it's not. Not when you're getting paid, and not when you're in the NFL in a professional league where you're all getting paid so much money. If you can kill the other team as much as you can.
That is. First of all, that's going to be a fantastic drop, so I appreciate that. But I agree. This professional sports, man. We're not in Little League. There's no mercy rule here. When it's 4th and 1 at the 5-yard line and you can make it a 3-score game, Kyle Shanahan, you should go for it and make it a 3-score. Don't keep it a 2-score game. Go for it. Step on their neck when necessary. He's never going to do it, but I wish he would. Corey Matthews says, thank you for the super chat, Corey. Stats and Michelle, you two are my favorite listen every week. What do you think of Spencer Burford feeling more comfortable at the left guard spot? Think he moves there next season with Banks going to free agency? Yes, I do. He played left tackle in college a lot. I think he played some left guard there, but he was primarily on the left side in college. He had to fill in for Aaron Banks after the calf contusion in week 1. And he said he felt a lot more comfortable there, played very well in that spot. Very, very small sample size in the NFL, but I do think that is kind of the plan for the 49ers because I don't think they're going to re-sign Aaron Banks. I don't think they're going to be able to. So they're going to need a backup plan. Pooney has locked it down on the right side. I could see Burford going over.
Or maybe they use some capital and just bring in a better guard, because Burford should not be on this team next year, and he should not be the starter unless he continues to play like he did in week 1 and he has a great year, then fine, I'll change my mind. But like, from what he's shown throughout his career, I do not want him to be their plan as the starter moving forward. He has to show way more before I ever get comfortable with that idea.
WK says hopefully he remembers his assignment in the Super Bowl this time. Still some hurt feelings from some folks. I totally understand it. Andre Garibay says need more touchdowns instead of 7 Moody field goals. I wonder if let me see if I can find. Is there like a Jake Moody field goal over under this week? I don't think so.
For those who had him in fantasy last week, it was fun.
6 field goals, 2 extra points. He was phenomenal, and it was nice to see. Anytime he can get his confidence up, I think that's always good. Okay, so before we go, just recap your 3 best bets for everybody.
Yeah, and I had one more too. So my last one was the Justin Jefferson under. I don't normally go with under 80.5 receiving yards. It's at plus 100 odds. So you're getting equal odds there. He only had 59 last week. Again, 44 of them came on one play. That was against the Giants' bad secondary. Last week, the 49ers looked a little rough about with Garrett Wilson to start. He only ended up with 60 yards on the day. And I think this is the only player that the 49ers have to focus on in this passing game, with Jordan Addison out, with TJ Hawkinson out. Like, they have nobody else. Jalen Naylor, like, no, he's not scary. So I have a hard time seeing where Justin Jefferson gets the 81 yards unless he just has an insane day where he is just cooking, which he could because he's Justin Jefferson. But I don't think so with Sam Darnold throwing him the ball.
That one, I don't know how confident. Everything you're saying makes sense, but it's Justin Jefferson. He scares me. I might stay away from that one, but okay. So Jefferson under 80.5 receiving yards.
Yes.
What are the
Vikings
others?
Under 20.5 points. Look at me with 2 unders growing.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy to have 2 passing touchdowns, 2 or more passing touchdowns, and for the 49ers to win. And then Aiyuk to have anytime touchdown and for the 49ers to win. Those are my 4.
You are doubling up on all of these. That's on the bet plus 49ers to win. If it works out your way, I mean, if you make those bets Michelle's talking about, you could make a lot of money on one Sunday by 4 p.m. Eastern. My bets, I have Sam Darnold over 0.5 interceptions, Brandon Aiyuk over 55.5 receiving yards, and Aaron Jones over 49.5 rushing yards in the game. I don't know if I said that one yet, Michelle. That was my third one. Over 49.5. That seems really low to me. I just feel like he's probably going to get a bunch of carries on the first drive. If the Niners are up big, maybe he doesn't get the chance to run that many times, but I don't know. I think he's going to get there. If you told me right now the Niners held Aaron Jones to 50 rushing yards, I would be thrilled. I would absolutely love that. But I still think he's going to get it. So that was my third bet. I don't know how you feel about that one.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Jones has been on fire since the back end of last year. It's been just like he's been running like he was to start his career, right? He looks healthy, he looks good. I think efficiency-wise, it's going to be down against this tougher 49ers defense, but like he's going to get a lot of volume. They can't just give Sam Darnold 50 carries in this game or 50 throws. Yeah.
We had 5 correct bets last week. Do you think we can match that this week, or do you think you're going under 5 correct bets for us?
Always over. Always over. We're going to match it or go over. Go.
Wow. If we went over, then I think we automatically become the best betting show of all time. Really. I think that's how it works.
I think that is, yes, exactly.
I don't make the rules, but I think that's pretty much exactly.
Well, we can already mark one as definite, the Sam Darnold interception. You don't even have to watch the game to know that's going to happen.
I told Levin the only way that doesn't happen is if he fumbles 3 times.
Or if like they just keep dropping his terrible passes. Like if the 49ers keep dropping his passes.
Yeah, I don't know. With the way Diamondor Lenoir was talking, I think that's not going to be a problem. We will see. Whatever happens after the game, make sure you hop in the Instant Reaction podcast live on YouTube, live on Twitch. Probably stream it live from the @GSN 49ers Twitter handle as well. Levin is not going to be there, so it'll be an extra good show. So it'll just be me flying solo. But please join for that because that's going to be a bunch of fun. rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio pods. Leave us a 5-star rating and a review. And of course, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. Click the bell so you get notified every single time we go live, which is every single weekday and after every single game. Michelle, I always ask you, what do you got going on this weekend?
For once, nothing.
You're staying home?
Well, I won't stay home, but I have nothing planned. Gonna go do something, but I have nothing planned.
Usually it's pickleball, or you're gonna go run a marathon, or you're gonna go, I don't know, to some restaurant. You always got something going on. No plans.
Next week I'm going out of town next weekend, but yeah, this weekend I'm just gonna chill out.
Are you gonna be able to do the show next week?
Yeah, I'll be here in the morning on Friday. I'll leave after the show.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And special thanks also to BetUS for sponsoring this video, of course. Once again, if you want to sign up for BetUS, use promo code YouTube150. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you after the game.
Bye, y'all.